Asuka
Yes.
was against her, and
Counter
Suzuki
from back
just
in the
gets a
day.
hold of her and just
I've
stomps
seen
the
clips of
ever
that match.
crap out of her. Even to the point that she was legitimately knocked out. She was knocked out for a good minute, and he just kept going. And they tried to pull him off, and they couldn't do it. That guy would.
He's crazy, man. He's crazy.
As Bobby Heenan used to say, that's the guy that you don't want. If he comes to the door and says, "I'd like to take out your daughter," you just bring her and say, "Here, bring her back Thursday."
So the other bit of news, really, the only bit of news I have is AEW and WWE. It looks like they're going to be able to start doing fans soon. AEW, I see that happening because they do small venues anyway. If you're doing a 5,000 person venue, 2,500 people is still pretty good. So, and Florida's already allowing 50% in venues, so they could start touring Florida a little bit, moving around Florida as they need to be. WWE, I don't know. WWE was so particular about like jamming fans to one side to make shows look sold out. That's why they were so hard on the hard cam at the beginning of the quarantine. Like they're just so devoted to that hard cam.
Right.
I don't know if they'll do a crowd spaced out.
I'm sorry to say though, with WWE, I can't get into the hockey fans that are around the ring. I mean, it looks good. Instead of running them into the barricade, you're pushing them up against the glass and ramming them in like a check. But no, I'm sorry. No.
Well, in a lot of things I've read, in a lot of things I read about them using the NXT stars is one, like they were there for like 9 to 12 hours, like being fans, because they recorded parts of Backlash before, then they did In Your House, and they're not letting them be in character. So they're just exhausted, and it's just, I don't know. One of the best parts of how AEW did it was, one, it was natural, and they just like they do everything, is they let their stars do their thing, and it was good.
Yep.
Just like WWE does, they micromanage everything, and it doesn't work out the same way. So, I mean, I
would just love to go to an AEW show and just have a wad of money and just sit there with MJF and Sean Spears and bet. Like they're doing. That is the best thing yet.
That was great.
That was the best thing they had going.
That is one of the things I will remember about AEW forever is them gambling. And it will be. I guarantee you, 10 years from now, they do a video package celebrating their 10 years. Yep. That will be in it because it is iconic now to AEW. That was an iconic moment, seeing those two guys throwing down money on matches. It was amazing.
And looking at Shivani and saying, "What you went in on this?" And Shivani just looking at him and says, "Let's go to the ring," because knowing that he could do
it. So other than that, the next bit of news I have is, actually, I'm going to drop this real quick. Impact announced last night their Slammiversary main event. It's going to be a 5-man match for the Impact Championship. It's Tessa Blanchard, Michael Elgin, Eddie Edwards.
Okay.
And Moose. One of the Rascals, the leader of the Rascals, Trey.
And all that's assuming Tessa shows up.
Yep.
What do you mean?
She hasn't been to the last few tapings.
Yeah, but they gave them all a choice. Now it's to a point that most of those restrictions have been lifted.
That's true.
Like,
she ain't got no excuse now.
I think she'll be there now. Taya Valkyrie was the same way. She chose not to go. So, man. I mean, they gave talent a choice. You have to give the talent the choice in this one. Not
Right.
every company again is WWE.
True that. True that.
The next bit of news I have is what birthed this show is our discussion on our chat about Charlotte Flair
Boo.
losing the top NXT championship to man, I am having a bad time with names today.
Io
Shirai.
Shirai.
Io Shirai, and I
Io
have
Shirai.
Io Shirai,
Mhm.
which it's about dang time.
Yes, I agree.
But then the very next night, Charlotte had a match against Asuka, which, by the way, Will, she did
It wasn't
not
for the
win.
title. It wasn't
It
for the
wasn't.
title.
I looked at it after you
Yeah,
brought
it
it
wasn't.
up, and I was like, it's not for a title. But did she win
Right.
or did she lose?
No, Asuka lost. Charlotte won because of Charlotte won because of interference.
Who interfered?
Yeah.
Nia Jax.
Oh yeah, because they're setting
Yeah.
up that feud.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's next.
But here's the thing
Well, yeah,
that
that's
scares me.
the title match at Backlash.
Yeah.
But here's the thing
That's
that
the match at
scares me.
Backlash.
But here's the thing that
Yes.
scares me. Here's the thing that scares me though. Now you've put in Asuka, who just got the title. Okay, she'll probably be Nia. I ain't gonna say it in front. She'll probably be Nia. But then you get her, and then after that, she goes right in against Charlotte, who just freaking lost. And then I don't know if you guys seen it. There's a petition out to stop Charlotte, or to try them not to get Charlotte to win another title. It's ridiculous, man.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
well, and you got to look at it too. The women's division in WWE, now that we're on the subject, let's look at the women's division at WWE as a whole.
Mm.
If you're giving a letter grade, I give it a D-.
I'm
Like-
not gonna go that far. I'm not gonna go
You
that
wouldn't even go that high?
I wouldn't go that low. I wouldn't go that low.
Okay.
I wouldn't go that low.
I
I wouldn't go that low.
See, my issue and why I go there is I feel like it's just about shoving the four horsemen everywhere they can.
Mm.
Or the four horse women. I'm sorry.
Women.
I just feel like it, like for the past few years, it's just been about Bayley, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte. And I mean, Becky wasn't even getting pushed for a while. Becky fought for her spot. She fought.
She did.
And I love that about Becky. But then when she got her spot, she just fell into that same pattern of the other three. If it weren't for that, I would give it a B-. I would.
You can't give it. You can't give it an A because of how they're being used. You can't give them an A.
It's
They don't
just so
utilize that
redundant.
talent.
They don't
utilize that
They
talent.
have such a diverse, wonderful, independent women's talent. Like some of the best indie women's wrestlers there are. And they're not using them.
Think about it for a second. Sonya Deville is not being used at all. Natty can go. She's more of like an apprentice in the back.
I mean, Natty has been going for a while. She's reaching the end of her career. I would give her that. But she could still be being used to put over this talent that's not being used.
Yep, that's what I say. Naomi's taking time off doing her thing. Ember Moon, from what I understand, is still on the shelf.
Not be back.
And may not come back. You're looking at Bianca.
She's coming, but
she's on the roster, on the main roster now, but still.
Again, I think that's a COVID thing.
Yeah, me too. They have talented women there who can wrestle. But again, I'm not an Alexa Bliss fan, but to get away from the horsewomen, you're sort of kind of happy to see Alexa Bliss. You're sort of kind of happy to see Nikki Cross. I love Nikki Cross, by the way.
God, I wish they could, because I feel like WWE doesn't think they can use the crazy character as a champion. But I want to see Nikki Cross as women's champion, because I would just I love her. I love crazy Nikki Cross.
Yeah, and don't forget you got Rhea over in NXT. You still have her. She was very, very, very good.
got one of my favorites, Candice LeRae, because I think she is super freaking talented.
They have the talent. The problem with the E, they don't know how to freaking use it, and it's frustrating because you go to these lesser. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
I was just saying, you have these lesser organizations who's not as big as WWE, didn't have the creative room of WWE, but yet can do better than WWE. As limited as Impact is, they're better than what WWE is showing. As limited as AEW is, they're better than what WWE is, better than what WWE is right now. So they have the talent. They just, for some reason, don't know how to use it. And it's frustrating as all get out.
Go ahead, Rob.
We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier this week, privately. The thing about the WWE is they like their homegrown talents, Charlotte, Bailey.
That's true.
Sasha, all of the ones that came up through the Performance Center, not the indie darlings that came in for a little bit. People like Candice LeRae that had who had the pedigree before coming to the WWE. Ruby Riott is a phenomenal. Heidi Lovelace.
There's the name
but now as Ruby Riott, because she wasn't homegrown as it was, her reputation wasn't made in the Performance Center. It was made before that.
Yep.
There's a problem. But that's why you see people like, they get behind Lacey Evans. They get behind Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
Nikki Cross. Carmella. Exactly. Home.
I said that just to get that.
And that's just her wrestling ability. Not her, just her wrestling ability. I don't know her from a can of paint, but that's her wrestling ability.
The worst thing that used to bother me with the WWE and the WWF back in the day was that no matter what you did before, your past, it's like the Men in Black normalizer. They zapped it and you had no past.
Yep.
There's only a handful. We talked about this in the TNA show. There's only a handful of stars that have been able to keep on to their past. R-Truth, one of them. He kept his entire gimmick from TNA basically and brought it over to WWE. And that is almost impossible to do because Vince, he wants all the copyright. He wants it all.
Yep.
He wants all of that because when you leave, he doesn't want you to be able to use any of it. As you can see with some of the stuff going on with FTR, they're getting sued for a couple of things by WWE for a couple of the slogans.
Oh so, my goodness!
It's just they just want the people that they've built. And when they make them, they build them. It's their exact mold of the star. What I wanted to add to that is what frustrates me the most is and now right this second NXT's women division isn't amazing, but it has been. It's been fabulous. Triple H has shown that he can run not just a great women's division, but a great freaking show. He knows how to use talent. He knows how to build talent. He knows how to then take that talent and make them better. Right. And then I think I've said this several times on the show before. If I were Triple H and I constantly made these talents, like I'm going to use a non-female example for a second because it's just the best one. The War Raiders. They were a dominant freaking AOP, dominant freaking force in the NXT. And then they go over to the main roster and within I would say I'm going to go high and say 6 months, but I think it was 3 months. Nothing.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Just buried. And that's because Vince doesn't know how to use the talent that Triple H has built.
It is the same thing with the Ascension.
Yes. The Ascension will go down in history as the most dominant tag team in NXT history. Where are they? Not even in WWE anymore.
Booker couldn't even save. Booker couldn't even save. Booker tried to save. He couldn't even
He
save him.
did.
Yep.
He couldn't even save him. Nope.
Like, it's just, if
Stardust
I were
tried to
Triple
save him.
If I were Triple H, I would be livid to the fact that I have built these huge stars, taken these guys and built them into brands. And then when they go to the main roster, my father-in-law wants to change everything about them because he doesn't like it and bury them. It would make me sick. It would. And
Well,
you got to understand why there's people like Ciampa now who don't want to go up there.
That was exactly going to be my point, and I know this is getting off the topic of the women, but
yeah, we'll get on it.
I'm really hoping that in Stamford, Connecticut, in Triple H's office, there is a list of NXT talent on there that is a, I'll call it the DNTV list. Do not touch Vince.
Yeah.
That he gets no hand in that list. Ciampa's on. I would hope that Ciampa was on it. I would hope Adam Cole is on it.
Oh, heck yeah, heck yeah.
And I think Cole's probably going up soon.
And then from what I've seen after tonight and how they're building him up, Karrion Kross is gonna
Do you really
future of NXT?
Do you really want
that
Adam
last
Cole?
segment? That last segment of NXT tonight was powerful, and he wasn't even there.
Do you really want Adam Cole to get called up, though?
No, not at all. And truly, there's a little bit of a rumor around that. The fact, I don't know if y'all listened to the AEW podcast with Britt Baker, but she made a comment about hopefully to be able to get the original Bullet Club and that family back together in AEW one day. And Adam Cole's contract is up in August. And at the moment, he is not re-signed. Now, do I think he's going to AEW? No, I don't. Because he's the champion. He's been running Undisputed Era since the very beginning. Like, I don't think he's going anywhere. They will throw ridiculous money at him. He will be the highest paid person on the NXT roster before they let him leave.
Heck yeah.
So I don't think he's going anywhere. But on that note, I would love to see Adam Cole in AEW. And I know everybody says I'm a fanboy, but he has history there. And I am. So hey, you can call it a fanboy, but I just like the better product right now. What'd you say?
You've been reading way too many comic books there, son.
I haven't read a comic book in months.
Now we talked about my girl.
Yeah, so he's done it recently, Bill William. You see that? He's done it recently. He hasn't read one in months.
Yeah. He did it recently. Now we talked about in our little chat earlier in the week. We talked about Camille down at NWA, and everybody knows
there's one right there in whole, a group that is building a great women's division. A great women's division from scratch at the same time that they're building up their other division, and building a show.
Yep. Okay. I think name me 3 other women wrestlers in the NWA besides Camille.
Rosa. Thunder Rosa.
Melina.
And then Melina.
Melina just got there a few months ago.
WWE star.
And then what was Allison Kay?
Former champion.
And what was her friend's name?
Yeah,
ODB is also.
I can't think of it was either. So, but
Allison,
they're building stars. They're not. And that's the other thing. What I like about it is they only have a couple of big names in their women's division. They are building it from scratch.
Yep. I don't know if it would be a good idea for Camille to win that championship though, because he called it Magnus, but Nick Aldis is I don't know, man. I wouldn't do it yet either.
we mentioned her. I like Allison Kay. I think she's a great talent. She's really good.
Melina can still go.
Melina can still go, which is impressive. And then I have always been a huge fan of ODB. I love ODB. Yep. But I think I'm hoping Power is coming back soon. I'm hoping they're able to start doing some kind of taping soon because I miss Power.
I want Camille on this show so bad.
Email her, Will. Come on.
We follow each other on Instagram. Well, I follow her. She don't follow me. I'm not that big. I'm not that big yet, but I follow her on Instagram. So without sounding like a crazy person, maybe I might just invite.
Hey, you never know.
Never know.
With talent like that, you never know what shows they'll come on.
You never know.
But you said it, and I think the top women's division right now is Impact. Impact has one of the best. AEW's is definitely on the rise. I love. God, my brain is not working tonight. I am dropping names like, what's the new champion's name? Jeez.
Where?
From AEW, the women's champion.
AEW.
Here.
Who the heck is this?
You and these Japanese names.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Hiroko
Shida.
Yeah.
Hiroko Shida.
The thing is, I really am a big fan of hers. I love her. I think she is a very, very talented wrestler. It should have been over here a long time ago. I was really feeling Nyla Rose. I think she is making big strides as being a huge beast in the division. I love what they're doing with Britt Baker. Baker, right now while she's on, and I haven't watched tonight, so I don't know what they did, but while she's hurt, like this whole role model thing and these vignettes of her like working out.
Doing it better than Bailey's trying to do. Bailey's not pulling it off with this whole evil role model thing. Baker's got it down pat.
Baylor is killing it. But you know what the key is right there, Rob? I heard this on the podcast too. You know who's being her mentor in this? The best person to ever pull off this gimmick, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
He's mentoring her in this. And when I heard that, I was like, no wonder she's killing it.
Makes sense.
Chris Jericho was the best anti-role model gimmick ever.
Makes sense. I got some, and I got so many problems with Bayley right now, man. It's like,
oh man, and I'm so ready for this Bayley Sasha feud to kick off. Like when they won the championship on Monday night, the look on Sasha's face, and I'm just like, she's about to go. It's gonna happen. Like the tipping point is coming. Like the needle is right there, and it's just Like, Bayley or Sasha is just like, and Sasha's playing it so well. She is. She's doing such a good job. I'm sorry. Everybody wanted to see it, including myself, but heel Bayley doesn't work.
Not only that, but no matter what form of Bayley, when you're talking about heel Bayley, when you're talking about babyface Bayley, either way, and I will give her props, she can't go in the ring, hell of a wrestler, but
Bayley is Bayley.
She can't talk for nothing.
No.
Her mic skills are terrible. And I wish somebody would work with her on that, but no one apparently has worked with her. Her mic skills are not very, very good at all. And that's my one thing about her. You know, look, you got to have, to me, a woman's wrestler, you got to have three things. If you have two or three, okay, but you got to have three things. You got to be able to wrestle in the ring, got to be able to talk. The last one, I don't really count as much, but the looks, I really don't count that as much if you got the first two. But to me, if you have those three, you're perfect. If you got two, you'll be just fine. And I just think
and it
Bayley
depends on where you're going, because the looks in WWE, the looks in WWE mean a lot.
And I cannot believe how much that counts when you look at somebody. People will tell you just off of looks, Alexa Bliss is a Hall of Famer. People will tell you just off look. People will tell you just off looks. Mandy Rose is fantastic.
Yes. Let me say this. Bliss is not the greatest worker, but she is a hell of a talker.
She can talk.
She is great on the mic. Anytime she gets on the mic, I enjoy it. She heel, anti-hero, face, whatever. She kills it on the mic. She could be dominant as a manager. She just needs to stop working.
I've never seen someone.
Are we boring you, Mr. Weary?
No. I can't believe she is one of the few people who can actually read the crowd and know what to say based on the crowd. She's real good at that. She's really good at just reading that crowd. I will always give her credit for that. Now, like I said, her downside, she's not a very good worker, but she can read that crowd to perfection and know what to say and know what buttons to push. Charlotte's gotten there a little bit too. Not to Bliss's level, but she's getting there too.
She's a fan. There's the opposite of the spectrum. Amazing worker. Now we dogged on Charlotte because she gets title after title after title after title. But if you take away her lineage, all of it, she is a fantastic, like, not just top of women. She is probably top 10 wrestlers in the WWE.
And I don't know if you remember when she was in NXT at the very first time.
She was bad.
She was terrible. She was doing
really bad.
She was doing all these flippy flips and stuff like that you see indie women do. There's a lady who has been in WWE. You guys might remember her by the name of Santana Garrett. That is like my arch nemesis. I don't like Santana Garrett, but Santana's the type of flippy flip, hey to the crowd, not really much of substance in the ring. And that's what Charlotte was at first. But kudos to Charlotte. She got she lot her better. Yeah. She got a whole lot better in the ring.
And going back to it.
Well, I don't know why.
Say what?
Santana Garrett's coming in to talk to you. I don't know why.
Man, let me tell you, man. I can't, man. I can't. She. Like I said, and I don't know her as a person. I can only say her. But what I can say.
We only judge on talent,
right? And that's the only thing I judge on. And to me, she isn't very good. I think I told her that once on Twitter, and she tweeted, and she sent me one back saying, well, I'm glad you have an opinion. Okay, that's cool. So that's cool. So whatever. But yeah, when I used to do the Wrestling Caller show back in the day on Rant and Radio, she was like the arch nemesis of the freaking show. I couldn't. No one liked her work. Nobody. And when she got some wins down in Texas over Barbie Hayden, people forget she's an NWA Women's Champion. Mm-hmm. People forget that. And she beat Barbie Hayden for that title. And we're years later, this is like 4 or 5 years ago, we're still scratching our heads. How the hell did she become the NWA Women's Champion? We still haven't been able to figure that out. So
because she had a name of a cup of coffee in Impact. Mm-hmm. She was one of those with the wasn't she in with LAX or something like that?
Yes.
At the same girl?
Yes.
And she also and you also see do some NXT stuff also.
Yeah. And she also did some WoW wrestling as well.
Yeah, I remember WoW, man. Yeah.
She was a champion in WoW, but lost it to Tessa Blanchard.
Which there's a girl we need to talk about right there. You brought the name up, Rob.
Do we have to?
We have to. I mean, she is one of the only top champions of a company to be a woman. So yeah, you have to bring it up. I want to see. Okay. We talked about the match for SummerSlam or Slammiversary. I think she drops it. I think it's the only way she can drop it and keep her strong because it won't be her that gets pinned.
Right. They need to get out from under that so bad.
They do. And the quarantine has actually been kind of a blessing for it.
What were you saying, Rob?
Yeah, you keep her strong if it's not an elimination match. If it's an elimination match, she has to lose to someone, and she probably should. But I don't know. Tessa winning the Impact World title, and it wasn't the first men's title that she took home. If you remember the
indie circuit,
Wrestle Circus.
Yeah,
the Wrestle Circus promotion. She beat Brian effing Cage in a match.
That makes no sense.
Brian effing Cage.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
No sense.
I mean,
no sense.
This is a problem we got to stop because and I don't know if anybody else saw it. There's an article going around that somebody asked Charlotte if she'd go after a men's title like Tessa did.
Yeah.
And Charlotte said, yeah. If the climate was right, I'd go after a men's title. I'm like, God,
intergender is never going to happen in WWE.
Here's my issue. Well, it'll never happen in WWE because the sponsors won't go for it. None of the sponsors, advertisers will go for it.
The sponsors aren't so. The sponsors can be one because I think AEW is going to end up doing it to some shape or form because Kenny's really big on it from Japan.
Yeah, because Kenny Omega wants to.
Yeah.
Because Kenny Omega wants to do intergender. That's why it's going to happen.
Well, I'm just saying I don't think the sponsors will stop that, is what I'm saying.
The only company to me that's ever done intergender right, and Josh, you know them. I think the only company who's ever done intergender right was Anarchy Championship Wrestling. I think that's the only company who ever did it right. You did it with Rachel Sutherland. They were the only people who did it right.
So it's been done right in other promotions, but only in one-off matches. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
PWG did it pretty right. I mean, the match was, who was it? I forget who were partners.
Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae.
Joey Ryan, Candice LeRae against the Young Bucks.
Was a great match. Fabulous freaking match. Candice LeRae was bloodied and just beat in that match, and it did not disappoint. She looked just as strong as the men in that match, even through the whole thing. And it can be done well. And I won't say that Impact did it all wrong. I have liked some of Tessa being champion. It's time for it to be done. It's time for it to move on. Truly, I think I've heard rumors, I've heard whispers that Tessa's contract is coming to an end. So she might be going somewhere else. You never know with Impact wrestlers.
I'll say this: she's not going WWE.
No, she will not. Anywhere because of her dad being in AEW, I would say that's a big thing. I would, but that's really. I mean, that's really your only other option.
She burned her bridge in WWE because I think, and sorry to say, her personal life got away with the professional life, and she had an incident at the Performance Center with another
another wrestler, wasn't it?
With who? Yes, it was a wrestler, and it was
withhold the name. Withhold the name.
I'm trying to think. Let's just put it this way. She got into an incident with a wrestler she was formerly dating, Ping Ping Ping.
Yeah.
And that's about.
Yeah. Withhold that name. But intergender to me, and like I say, Anarchy did it to me the best because they put Rachel in so many matches down there with you guys. Particularly her and Scott Summers in particular, they just put her in so many matches with male talent. They did it with Rachel. They did it.
Ember Moon had some good
Matthew Partner.
match.
Yeah, Ember Moon had some back in the day. Wrestling Goddess Athena. There was so many that ACW did well, and nobody had an issue with it. Nobody had it.
Well, okay. The other thing is, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm so for intergender. Intergender is done in Texas, like a lot. You see it in a lot of the smaller indies around here. It's a pretty common thing. GCW tends to do intergender when they're in Texas, when they're in Austin. They usually have like one match. It's a common thing you see down here because Texas boys like strong women. What can we say?
Can you say? Could you say Texas is where strong style wrestling originated? Could we say that?
In America, I would say that it has something. The Von Erichs were big in the strong style. Like they weren't pulling punches. They weren't like, it was like some of it, it's always choreographed. But to clear this up, because I didn't know for a long time what that meant, what strong style meant. To clear it up for the listeners, basically, wrestling is always choreographed, like in Japan and Britain, and you see it a lot here in Texas, and it's really spreading more throughout. The punches, the kicks, stuff like that is real. Like they don't pull those. You don't see the leg slap in Japan at all. That's not done because they're not faking it. They're actually kicking that person. And that's why guys like AJ Styles and even Lesnar and people in Shinsuke, and that's why they're so good. It's because it's why they're so good outside and maybe always don't click in the E, and sometimes do. AJ also, he had been here, went over, but it's why guys like Shinsuke don't click always, because they're used to having real fights basically that are choreographed, but they're still fighting.
Right.
And you see, yes, you're right, Will. You see that a lot here in Texas. Strong style is very popular because the Von Erichs were real big into strong style because Kerry Von Erich was big in Japan. Yep. And so he brought that over in the 60s, and you saw it a lot. Dusty was big in strong style because of being around here. And that's, I think that's one of the reasons I love Cody so much, is because he picked that up from his dad. I know in AEW they still pull punches and stuff, but if you watch Cody, like his moves are different. Like you can tell when a guy has been trained in strong style because they throw the punch. They don't fake throw the punch.
Right.
And I'm a huge fan of strong style wrestling.
And there's a lot of ladies who are adapting that small, really good at it. Rachel was good. Barbie Hayden was good. She just recently retired a few years ago, but Barbie Hayden was really good at strong style wrestling. So you did have a few, and some now coming up learning it too.
And then Athena did it too. Wrestling Goddess Athena, Ember Moon, she was good at strong style wrestling. Like and I'm not trying to throw things, but that's what Booker teaches.
Yep.
Like Booker teaches a form of strong style. I'm sure that, again, it's always choreographed, and you can do a soft version of strong style to a strong to the like all the way version, and it's always going to change. British strong style is different than Japanese strong style. It's different than Texas strong style. It's different than what you're going to see other places. But
you would have had a little bit of the strong style of it, considering their head women's trainer was Sarah Del Rey. That's right, and she was really big in the strong style.
Yes.
So you would
there's one right there.
Fit Finley was the one before her with the British.
Probably the king of strong style as far as WWE goes.
Yeah.
And there's still
you talk about the Four Horsewomen and all that stuff. No, before that, with people like Michelle McCool and AJ and all that stuff, the ones that were trained by Finley, that's where the women's revolution starts in WWE.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
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 I mean,
And
you got the. I mean, and we've talked about this before. Trish Stratus, Lita, definitely two of the key builders. Again, being helped out by Fit Finley. They
And this
both
was
said
before
that.
there was
Yep.
a performance center.
Yeah, that was before
This was before
Fit.
they had OVW or South.
And
This
Fit
was Finley in the ring.
Yeah, he was on the roster. He was a wrestler
Yes.
that would just come out there and help these women get better.
Yep.
And he would go with them. Like he would actually, again, strong style wrestler. He would go. And that's what made these women better. I would count Trish to an extent of being a strong style. Lita to the same way. Like they just had a way that they performed that was different. And they made it look so real because they were used to doing it real. When you're used to doing it real, even only if you do it real in practice and then fake and then pull it in the match, it just looks better. It does.
Yep.
You learn how to react from actually doing it to then not do it. But I mean, we could go on the topic of women in wrestling for hours and hours and hours. We didn't even talk about like Stardom, and now that they have a relationship with NJPW, I'm excited to see where that goes. I think they're on the up and up.
There's not. I don't think there's ever been a women's match in NJPW in
No,
New Japan.
and there was supposed to be for Tokyo Dome this year was the plan I had been hearing. So I think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see that. Women's wrestling, like the E wants to take all the credit for the revolution, but the revolution has been going on, and we've talked about this before. Again, Lita, Trish, Key, but in Impact, you got Nikki, Gail Kim, ODB, like girls over there that were putting on hell of matches in 06, 07, 08, 09, 10. I mean, Mickie James was a badass in Impact. We talked about this on that episode. But hardcore Mickie James, hardcore country, loved me some hardcore country.
And there are so many, and I don't mean to cut you off. There are so many women from the Shimmer ranks back around that time who never got the opportunity to be in the E. Cel Del Rey as a trainer, but she never got a shot to be in the ring.
She was on Impact and she was amazing.
Because she never got a shot to be in the ring because Vince didn't like her look, but he did keep her as a trainer.
Because she's freaking amazing.
Amazing, man.
That one makes me so mad. I'm sorry. That one makes me so mad because Sarah Del Rey is probably one of the best women's wrestlers that we've seen in the last 20 years. And just because Vince didn't like her,
I wish I had a DVD. I wish I had a DVD burner for you guys, because I read that one of her last indie appearances I went to and I met her.
Oh
man,
it such great matches on there, and she was just amazing and so sweet. And I got her to sign the DVD too, and it's
she's amazing, man. She's amazing. And then there's another letter I want to bring up too. She helped train Billy Kay, and it's a damn shame WWE would even look at her. Madison Eagles. She helped train Billy Kay. She dominated over in Shimmer. She had a little bit of a run over in Japan, down in the Indies with Shimmer, Shine. She's done some stuff there, but Madison Eagles very, 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 very good. But because of her look, Vince didn't like her.
Well, and
the thing with names too, like LuFisto is another name that you could bring. It was Rita. LuFisto's one person. Saraya Knight.
Yeah,
Paige's mother.
Paige's mom.
Legend.
Well,
yes.
And can I bring this up? A lot of those names you mentioned. Do you think it's because those guys are so good? Because those names you mentioned right there are probably some of the top 5 wrestlers we've seen as far as women wrestlers in this decade, in the last 2 decades. So do you think Vince says, oh, it's your look, but it's really there's no way I can bury you. You're just too good. You're gonna make my homegrown talent look like crap.
That could be the case too. Backdoor politics. That could be the case
That's
too.
right.
I mean, backdoor politics is a huge part of the E. We all know that.
That could be it too.
I'm gonna put this question to you guys and for an answer, and I'll give my answer. You're Vince McMahon.
Mhm.
You have the ability to push one female superstar to the top. That isn't there now. Who are you pushing and why?
They have to be on the roster, or they can be.
They have to be on the roster right now. NXT, WWE, doesn't matter. One person is going to be your new face of the company that isn't already or hasn't already been the face of the company. Who are you pushing?
Will, can you go first, Will? Because I need just a second.
If I'm going off someone who hasn't been a champion before, if I'm going with somebody who I like in the ring, we just got done talking strong style. I'm gonna go a dark horse. I'm gonna go with Sonya Deville.
Oh, I like that one. I really do. That's a great choice.
She hasn't really been involved in a major feud yet. She's gotten in the ring with Asuka for a little bit, but she really hadn't been showcased the way I think she could be showcased. And I just think that she would be very, very good in the women's division as a face. Maybe not as the face, but as a face in the company.
I agree with that. I really agree with that. This one is hard for me. There's just so much good talent, and I really can't even think of all because there's so much talent. I'm gonna pick two just because I can't decide. One is we talked about her. We talked about both of them, but Nikki Cross. I love her, and I think if she wasn't on a WWE leash, she would be even more amazing. And then the other one is just because I'm not been a big fan of her in the E, but if they would let her loose, I think she would be amazing, and that's Candice LeRae. And that's because I loved her on the Indies. I think she was amazing on the Indies.
Very good.
She's one of the ones though. Triple H hasn't tapped her yet. Like he hasn't tapped into that. Like I haven't really liked. I'm seeing more of it with her and Gargano together, like this heel couple thing that they're doing. I'm kind of liking, and I'm going to enjoy. I know, and and I've known that relationship for a long time between the Tommaso Ciampa and all that, and I'm liking that, and I'm excited to see them versus Chiron and I can't remember what her Scarlett, but I can't remember her name in the E.
Another one
Candice was actually going to be my pick as well for that. I mean, we're just starting to see the pint-sized poison character that she is created for herself
is really
phenomenal in my opinion. That's absolutely brilliant, and I'm glad to see it because the little girl with the gummy bears and all that stuff that's not going to fly in the WWE. This new side of Candice is going to be great. She has the potential to be there with that. I'm sorry. She needs to be the anti-Charlotte.
Yes.
He's saying
I agree.
Well, and I think that's going to happen because you heard they're already talking about sending up Chelsea Green. Like, they're talking that Chelsea Green is going to SmackDown in the next couple of weeks, and I was surprised on that because I don't feel like she's done. I know she's been in NXT a long time, but you rarely see her on TV. They just started this gimmick with her and Robbie in the Robbie E. or DJ.
I'm just glad they got her out of the wedding dress. I'm just glad they got her out of the wedding dress.
Yes.
Really quick side note. Did y'all hear that after they fired Ryder, about 2 weeks later, they messaged Chelsea and asked if they could. WWE messaged Chelsea and asked if they could use their pool for a scene with Otis and Maddie and Rose. And
that scene where they imitated the whole Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, they wanted to use their pool for that. Ryder said that he was so mad, like he had a whole tweet typed up and deleted it. Like, you want to fire me, and then you ask to use my pool, and they didn't even text him; they text his wife.
Yep. I did, you know, and I'm going to say this: I'm sorry to see Zack Ryder go. There's a times that I don't have a lot of sympathy for Zack Ryder.
Yeah,
and here's why: great talent, great, all that stuff. He did a show. He had like a little mini YouTube show with.
Yeah, I remember that.
Long Island IZ.
Well, no,
I remember that.
After that, it was the two of them, and they go to these collectible stores.
Oh, that's still going.
Oh, they're still going?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what he told this story on this week.
Yeah, and they went and Ryder spent.
Yeah, I've watched several of these. He spends like in one episode, he spent like $10,000 on a figure.
Damn!
Yes.
Hell no!
The old big boss man LJN.
Yes, that
because
it was one of a kind. Chelsea, he says that Chelsea like lays into him for purchases like this, and his garage is filled. His garage is filled with figures.
I'm sorry. I'm the type I want my childhood back. So I'm kind of looking for. I want 2 of those LJN figures that I had when I was a kid. I want my Hulk Hogan and I want my Roddy Piper. I'm not paying $10,000 for them. No.
Exactly.
I'm watching them on eBay. When they get to $40-$50, I'm like, I'm out. I'm done.
Exactly,
Don't
man.
get that bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We could run on this topic for hours and hours and hours, and this will definitely be a revisited topic at some point because there's just so many talented women in wrestling, and they're not getting used. And I wish one female dominant federation could come up, like just a female, kind of like Glow used to be at one point. That they were almost right there.
I thought it was going to be
Make it better than Glow.
I'm not talking the quality of Glow. I'm talking the popularity of Glow.
I thought WSU, didn't mean to cut you off again. I thought WSU was so close. They had Jessica Havoc at the time.
Yeah. Oh,
Athena was over there at the time.
Woo!
And they had Athena over there at the time. I thought they had Hanaya, the Howling Huntress, who was up and coming at the time.
Mm-hmm.
LaFisto was over there. I thought that was going to be the up and coming thing and take over from Shimmer in that role, and it never materialized.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then like we didn't talk about too real quick, Havoc and Rosemary in Impact. Two really good.
And Jordynne Grace.
And Jordynne Grace, their champion. Jordynne Grace is freaking amazing. Another girl who kind of practices a strong style version of wrestling, because that girl don't pull no punches.
No, she don't. She
lays in, bro. Love watching her fight. She is one I would love to see in an intergender match because she can go, bro.
It would. To me, Jordynne Grace would be more believable in a intergender than Tessa Blanchard.
I agree. She would have been more believable. Take the time, build her up as a women's champion, then jump her over. She would have been more believable because, again, the strong style lends to it, which I don't understand really why Tessa's not better at strong style, because Tully comes from that too. Like, I don't understand why it doesn't. Tessa's never done it, maybe, is the thing, but I don't.
Or maybe not enough reps with it. Or maybe not enough reps with it. You know,
Yeah.
there's no
But
telling.
another great show, guys. Next week's show, I say Rob called the topic. I'm ready to talk about the baddest of the bad in professional wrestling. And I'm not talking about like top heels. We're talking about actual bad MFers. Like
who we won on our side on the bar in a bar fight.
In a bar fight. I.e., I'm going to give a quick example of who most Americans are going to think of. Ron Simmons.
Don't forget Ming. Don't forget Ming.
Yeah, and then you got Taker. Like the guys that you're going to want on your side in a real fight. That's going to be next week's episode because there are a lot of guys that are just wrestlers. They're nothing other than a wrestler. But then there are guys who step into the ring who are fighters. And they are in there and they're doing a wrestling match, but they are fighting. And this is probably one of the best episodes to talk about some of those matches that weren't planned. Like that person necessarily didn't plan on winning. Ron Simmons, Ahmed Johnson.
I remember that match. I remember that match, boy. Whooped his tail, boy. Ooh, boy.
You don't mess with Ron Simmons. That ended Ahmed's career. It ended his career.
Yep. Ended his career and changed the veneer of his soul. I swear it did. Oh my goodness, man.
So that's next week's episode. We got a couple of good shows coming down the pipeline here in the next couple of weeks. We're definitely going to be having
including July 3rd. I just want to let y'all know. Just want to let you know it's your boy's birthday. I just want to let you know.
July 3rd.
But y'all ain't hear that from me.
July is going to be a special.
Little birdie came flying down from the well.
Little birdie came down from nowhere.
Birdie came down.
I just want to let you know. Just want to let you know what's going on. From Mr.
July is going to be a special month because that's both of our birthday months. Will.
Yes, your birthday is what, the 24th?
Yep.
Okay. I remember. Okay.
But on that note, Will, take us out.
We're gonna have to get the Kingpin back for you guys too.
Oh, well, we are gonna have the Kingpin back. We have been talking for a while. We wanted to do a Dark Side of the Ring episode, and I think he is the best guest to have on for that episode. So we are going to be having him back real soon. I'm about to message him to figure that out.
I'm shooting my shot with Camille tomorrow. I'm shooting my shot.
And for Will's birthday present, he's going to get Camille.
Willie Will, I beat you to it. I sent her a message during the show. And it got an automated response, so we'll see. This is what I got. I said, all I asked her was, are you available for podcast interviews? The response I got was, thanks for the message. I try to be as responsive as possible. I'll get back to you soon.
Dang, man. Oh, man.
I'll say this. I reached out to somebody today, and I didn't hear back from them, so I'll wait and see. But if it works out, we are going to have, I'm not going to say who, but we're going to have a second generation superstar.
Okay.
From one of the most revered families in professional wrestling. That's all I'm going to say right now, because nothing is set in stone yet.
That could be very interesting.
What Camille said, bro.
I don't know what Camille said.
This man is like sending out so many good vibes. He's like, come on, Camille. Come on.
Do it.
Bring her on the show. Bring her. He's like,
do it.
I'll tell you what. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get Gene. We are all going to get a wish list. We're all going to get one person.
Okay. Yeah.
The dream interview on this podcast and see if we can make it happen.
Yeah, we're gonna make that thing.
You
I
know
shot
who
my
really
shot.
was?
I've shot my shot with that one already.
Uh,
I actually did two on that one. I sent a message to Cody because I'm a huge fan, but I didn't expect anything on that. And Darby Allin.
I sent one to Cody.
oh,
Darby.
I might be able to help you on that.
On the Darby Allin?
I might be able to help you on Darby. Yes.
I would love to get him on this show. Like I think he is so talented.
I got a friend who is, as we speak, hanging out with Darby right now.
Oh man!
Please, Rob Weary, make that happen for my birthday. Make that happen.
Make it work.
Oh, I'm done.
But one time
that would make this little boy wrestling fan so happy.
But one time I sent an email to Cody. It was some years ago. I think he was, oh man, what was he? I don't remember exactly where he was at the time, but he just left WWE. Yeah, he just left WWE. And I asked him for an interview. And at first he said yes and get back to him. The second time his agent got in the way and told me no. Then I asked Jordan Grace once, and Jordan said yes, but it'd be $50. Bruh.
It's the same thing Teddy Hart told me.
Bruh.
Yeah.
So, but all right, Willie Will, take us out, sir.
All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to a new episode of The Paradigm Shift. Please subscribe to Paradigm Shift wherever you listen to your podcast, including Spotify, iTunes, Speaker, Deezer, Podplayer, and Podchaser. Like, share, comment, and subscribe on YouTube and SoundCloud. Also follow us on Facebook at Paradigm Shift Wrestling. Have an idea for the show or a question? Please email us at theparadigmshift@thestablesnetwork.com. Follow all things wrestling and connect with the show at fanview.com/paradigm shift. Thank you to the Stables Network for bringing this and loads of other podcasts to you. Check them out at thestables.network. Last but certainly not least, thanks to Brett Brick.
Magic Voice.
Brick for producing
Magic Voice.
Yes, for producing this and all our shows. Again, thank you for listening to Paradigm Shift. Shifting the paradigm of wrestling podcast.